All right, guys, so this is the assignment for Monday, February the 8th for ELA, Language Arts. We're reading a passage called The Process of Digestion, and this fits very nicely with science. I know Miss Howard's room, you guys are a little bit further ahead of us, but my homeroom, we are right in the digestive system starting today. And in my homeroom today, they are filling out the parts of the digestive system. They're reading a little passage about swallowing, and now they're going to learn even more about the digestive system because this article is going to go into the process. What is digestion and what goes on during digestion? All right, if you haven't already done so, make sure you have the slideshow pulled up. You can follow along with me on this video because I know you can see this and you can read the words that are on the screen, and that's fine, but at least have the slideshow up so you can refer back to that when you get to the questions so you can have the text to verify the answers that you're picking. All right, so let's go ahead and start. This is called the process of digestion. Digestion is when food is broken down into small molecules so that they can be absorbed into blood plasma for energy. So this is tying in the fact that we've learned about the circulatory system and how it is has a really strong relationship with the respiratory system and that those two work in tandem together. Well, the digestive system also has a strong relationship with the circulatory system because when we digest our food, the whole purpose of eating and the whole purpose of digestion is to get those nutrients and those molecules that are going to go out to our cells and give them energy. That is the purpose. And we got to figure out, hey, how do we get those nutrients and molecules to the cells in our body? Our stomach can't visit all the cells in our body. So it gets there through our circulatory system. So again, that circulatory system is kind of like almost like a postal service. It is traveling through our body, delivering oxygen, picking up carbon dioxide, delivering nutrients, picking up the nutrients when it's down around the digestive organs, and so on. So the digestive system works with the circulatory system, just like the respiratory system works with the circulatory system. All right. When you eat, food enters your body through your mouth. This is where mechanical digestion begins. You chew your food and it becomes wet with saliva. Saliva contains an enzyme that starts breaking down the food. I think this person meant to put saliva here. It says salvia. Saliva also lubricates food. That means moistens it so that it's nice and slippery. It can slip, not, be rough and have some friction and all that as it's trying to go down the esophagus. When you swallow it, it travels down the esophagus. Food travels down the esophagus into the stomach. Your stomach is like a sac with strong muscular walls. A juice in the stomach starts digesting protein in the food. While the protein is being digested, there are muscular contractions that mix the food with digestive enzymes. After 1 to 2 hours, there's a thick liquid left in your stomach, and that's called chyme. So a couple of points here. So our stomach is it has muscular walls, these really strong muscular walls that start contracting and grinding up the food that we have eaten so that it can get it all broken down into this soft, liquidy substance called chyme. All right, so there we have a tie right there. We have muscular system, and having a relationship here with the digestive system. Chyme enters the small intestines to continue digestion. The small intestines is a long coiled tube that is over 20 feet long. That's a really long tube, right? It's all bundled up in there in your stomach area, in your abdomen. All right. Chyme continues to break down in the small intestines. After chyme is digested completely, it is absorbed into your bloodstream. So it is the small intestines, that part of the digestive system, where this exchange for the nutrients takes place. So when the circulatory system is pumping the blood through this area of the body, it is going to be picking up those nutrients and those molecules that the small intestine has finished breaking down and it's releasing it into the bloodstream so that it can be delivered to the cells. All right. Leftover waste. So once what's left over, after all the good stuff's been taken out and the circulatory system's got it and it's sending it along its way, what's left over, that's waste. We got to get rid of that waste. So this leftover waste then passes into the large intestines. And it's the job of the large intestines to get this waste where it needs to go, which is out of the body. So the large intestines is a 5 to 6 foot tube. So it's smaller in length than the small intestine. Water is removed from the waste, so the large intestines is extracting the water out of this waste. And your large intestines eliminate any leftover contents. During the process of digestion, your body breaks down food into absorbable nutrients. This gives you the energy you need to live and grow. Digestion also rids the body of leftover matter or bacteria you do not need. So just to recap really quick, so when you eat, it goes into your mouth. You chew it up into this nice gunky stuff. And when you're ready to swallow that bolus, it goes down your esophagus and into your stomach. Your stomach is lined with nice strong muscles and it starts grinding and scrunching and crunching and getting all that food into this liquidy stuff called chyme. And then the chyme enters the small intestines. The small intestines continues to break down the chyme and it's pulling out the usable stuff, the usable nutrients and the usable molecules so that your circulatory system, which is cruising by the bloodstream, it's cruising by, it can get that good stuff and send it to the cells of the body that will use that good stuff. Then what's left over, not everything is good stuff. So you got some stuff that's left over. That's waste. And that goes into the large intestine, which is going to pull the water from this leftover waste, pull it out and hardens it up into a nice brown hardened up waste that we're all familiar with. And then it's going to make its way out the large intestine and out of the body altogether. All right, so that's a recap of that. All right, we're going to move to the questions. I almost forgot to mention one of my favorite parts of digestion. I don't know how that slipped my mind, but everyone in my homeroom knows that my favorite type of muscle is smooth muscle. That makes me excited. I love smooth muscle. And smooth muscle is lining your intestines, and it's those muscles that are those smooth muscles along the intestines that are pushing the chyme and eventually the waste that eventually becomes poo-poo. That is what's moving that stuff along. It's squeezing and moving it along. So that's another angle that the muscular system ties in here to the digestive system. So another relationship between two body systems here. Okay, so here are the questions for this assignment. The directions, of course, are saying that you need to read the passage before you get to these questions. You should watch this read aloud before you get to the questions. If you don't already, make sure you have your slideshow up here as one of the windows so you can toggle back and forth. Toggle meaning going back and forth as needed to refer back to the text to get your answers. Number 1, which of the following best describes the organizational text structure of process of digestion? So this is asking, how's this text organized? Compare and contrast, problem and solution, those things. And so when we're looking at the text structure of a whole passage, we're looking at the whole thing from start to finish. How is this put together? Well, I'm going to tell you, it's called the process of digestion. That is a big hint right there. That tells me that this is going up through steps of digestion. That's what it means by process of digestion. All right, so would we call this passage cause and effect? So events that cause other events to happen. Compare and contrast, where two things are looked at, how they're alike, how they're different. Sequential order, the order that things happen in. Or problem and solution, where we have a problem described and either it gets solved or the author gives us solutions for solving the problem over the course of the text. All right, which of the following contains a pair of signal words which help convey the text structure of this passage. So based on whatever we picked in number 1, we need to pick signal words that match that text structure. So becomes, also, like, after, during, broken, rids. Number 3, which sentence best explains how the small intestine is vital in digestion? All right, so let's go back and see what the small intestine does, because that's probably going to clue me into what's important, what's vital about it. All right, chyme enters the small intestines to continue digestion. The small intestines is the long coiled tube that is over 20 feet long. Chyme continues to break down in the small intestine. After chyme is digested completely, it is absorbed into your bloodstream. So, is it that the small intestine eliminates any leftover contents? Chyme continues to break down in the small intestine. A juice in the stomach starts digestion of protein and food. Or the small intestine is a long coiled tube that is over 20 feet long. We are looking for an explanation of how the small intestine is vital, important to this process of digestion. So not just any old comment about the small intestine, showing how it's important for digestion. Number 4, which sentence best explains the relationship between digestion and the esophagus? So let's go see again what the esophagus is all about. All right. When you swallow it, meaning the food that you have chewed up, it travels down the esophagus. Food travels down the esophagus into the stomach. Your stomach is like a sack. So that's all they say about the esophagus right there. When we swallow food, it travels down our esophagus. And then the food travels down the esophagus and into the stomach. So I can see from here that its role is to transport the food we've chewed to the stomach, where it will start being crunched up and turned into chyme. So it's a tube where food is passing through from one part of the digestive tract to another. All right. So which sentence best explains that relationship? Is it food travels down the esophagus into the stomach? This is where mechanical digestion begins. Digestion also rids the body of leftover matter or bacteria you do not need. After 1 to 2 hours, there is a thick liquid left called chyme. Number 5. Which best explains the relationship between digestion and the large intestine? So now I need to see, well, what's the large intestine's role in this digestion process? Let's go see. All right, large intestine. That was towards the end. There we go. Leftover waste then passes to the large intestines. The large intestines is a 5 to 6 foot tube. Water is removed from the waste, and your large intestines eliminate any leftover contents. All right, so we're looking for its role, its relationship to digestion. The large intestines is a 5 to 6 foot tube. Water is removed from the waste, and your large intestines eliminate any leftover contents. Leftover waste then passes to the large intestines. After chyme is digested completely, it is absorbed into your bloodstream. Now, I'm thinking there's 2 of them here that you might get torn between, and you got to think about, we're looking for something that the large intestine is doing, its role in digestion, okay? And between those 2, there's one that's tricky, that you could fall into that trap. You got to think about it. Is this something that the large intestine is doing? And if it's not, then you don't need to pick that answer. Number 6, which of the following best shows the relationship between the digestive system and the circulatory system? So this one, you got to have that knowledge of that we've been building in science, okay? Knowledge knowing that the digestive system is breaking down food into molecules that the body can use for energy. But your digestive system doesn't have some sort of pathway to every cell in your body, so how does every cell in the body get what it needs that the digestive system has just produced for them? And that would be the circulatory system. The circulatory system with the bloodstream is going to grab up those nutrients and get them to where they need to go. So we need an answer that ties into that. Of these four, the best one that ties into that. After chyme is digested completely, it is absorbed into your bloodstream. A juice in the stomach starts digesting protein in the food. While the protein is being digested, there are muscular contractions that mix the food with digestive enzymes. This gives you the energy you need to live and grow. We're looking for an answer that ties the digestive system and the circulatory system together and establishes a relationship between the two. Number 7. Which of the following best shows the relationship between the digestive system and the muscular system? So again, that digestive process of breaking down food into molecules that the body can use for energy, and the muscular system, which is referring to muscles in our body. So, after chyme is digested completely, it is absorbed into your bloodstream. A juice in the stomach starts digesting food. While the protein is being digested, there are muscular contractions that mix the food with digestive enzymes. This gives you the energy you need to live and grow. So we need something here that's establishing a connection between the digestive system and the muscular system. Number 8. What color was Miss Brinson's shirt during this video? Okay, here's my shirt. Is my shirt canary yellow, bright pink, navy blue, or neon green? So even if the lighting's not great in here, you can eliminate 3 of those because it's clearly not anything but the color that it is. All right, hang tight so you can answer number 9. Okay, I know in several of these videos this girl here has been barking and y'all have heard her. You probably heard her on the Zoom today. So here's a nice close-up of her. This is Shelby. She's my mom's dog and she's visiting us. And she's super sweet, but she barks a lot. So sorry about that. But she has made an appearance. So you can answer question 9. Who else appeared in this video besides Miss Brinson? Is it her mom's dog, her son Adam, Miss Howard, or Miss Metter? All right, once you are feeling like you can submit this confidently and comfortably, go ahead and do so. But don't hit submit unless you are completely ready because there's only one shot at this. There are not going to be any do-overs. If you need any help or need any assistance or anything like that, you can email me, you can message me, and I'll be glad to help you. This is due by 11:59 tonight, so make sure you have it done by midnight because if it comes in after midnight, that's the last point I check it at. I'm not going to stay up after midnight to see who's doing work after that. It's time for bed. All right, so due by 11:59, and we'll see you at the Zoom tomorrow.